You can't fry a billion chickens without getting a little chicken grease on your hands. The KFC brand wasn't always the powerhouse it is today, known around the world for its finger-licking good chicken made with a secret blend of herbs and spices. Many people gave their blood, sweat, and tears to make the Kentucky Fried Chicken you know. And in just a few minutes, you'll see that it's not a figure of speech when we say that people have died for these buckets of chicken. Get ready for a wild history, and present, of this chicken cooking restaurant and its famous founder. Number 10. A business disagreement becomes a murder. Colonel Sanders was born in the 1890s, so the world he grew up in was very different from the one we live in now. The Colonel ran a Shell gas station, and he didn't like how a competitor went out at night and painted over his signs, directing customers to his business instead. Since the police couldn't do much to help, the Colonel went to his rival's workplace and told him that he would kill him if he painted on his signs again. The rival business owner didn't care about the death threat, so he went out and painted over the Colonel's signs again. This time, though, the Colonel and his workers caught him in the act. Surprisingly, the man drew a pistol and fired upon Sanders, striking one of the gas station managers and killing them. The Colonel fired back at the man with his own gun but wasn't able to kill him. Now that his competition was in prison for murder, the Colonel could focus on his real dream, or was it his nightmare? Number 9. Colonel Sanders didn't like KFC. Colonel Sanders was already 65 years old when KFC started to grow and become popular. He was no longer the strong, gun-carrying man he used to be. When he realized he wasn't cut out for the work ahead of him, he sold the business in 1964 for the paltry amount of $2 million and a contract that said the restaurant could keep using his image. At the time, he was 73. Soon after selling, the Colonel became as bitter as a day-old biscuit. He threw fits in KFC stores, went to conferences to tell everyone how much he hated them, and even started a lawsuit against his old company while trying to start a new chicken business to compete with them. Even though KFC gave him another $1 million, they thought it was a small price to pay to get him to stop making trouble in their stores. Number 8. The KFC you know today exists because of Wendy's. Even though they don't really compete with each other since one serves burgers and the other serves chicken, it might come as a surprise to learn that Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, is the only reason the KFC brand exists today. Thomas moved up in the Colonel's company as he came up with ideas to make the business a success. Dave was determined to get people to recognize the KFC brand, so he pushed for the Colonel to be in TV ads, for his stores to be painted red and white, and, perhaps most importantly, for the KFC bucket to be made. Dave Thomas was so good at his job that he was sent out into the field to help franchises get started. When he finally got tired of not being able to find a burger place he liked, he decided to use the money he had made working for the Colonel to open his own. Number 7. KFC gets sexy with a dating game. Since the Colonel died over 30 years ago, the company has been trying to come up with new ways to advertise. One way KFC tried to be cool was by putting out a free-to-play game where you could date, or be dated by, the Colonel himself, or at least a very manly and handsome version of the Chicken Man. Most video games that are made to promote another game or product don't do very well, but I Love You, Colonel Sanders, has a near-perfect rating and great reviews. Even though the game was about wanting to lick the greasy fingers of a 100-year-old man, it still did very well. Number 6. The Colonel was a bit of a jerk to women. He was shooting people and getting into fights, so he probably wasn't the nicest guy to women, either. Get out of town. For a man who sold fried chicken to a lot of people and enough gravy to drink, you might think that the Colonel would be a little more forgiving of people who are, a little on the generous side, but people kept saying that he wasn't. One of these things happened at a fan meet. People who had come to see him took pictures with him and had him sign their autographs. Among them was a group of women who liked the Colonel and his chicken that made them fat. Even as he signed autographs and greeted the women, he couldn't help but comment on how fat they all were and joke that they waddled around. Number 5. KFC releases its own console. After the surprising success of their free-to-play dating game, where could KFC go next to capitalize on their fan favor? If you guessed, a gaming console that also cooked chicken to a fine golden crisp while you played, we would assume you cheated and looked it up because nobody would have guessed that. As this list was being written, the KF console still hadn't come out since it was announced in 2020. All the reports seem to agree, though, that it is a real product that will be sold at some point. How safe is it to cook chicken when you're distracted by a game? How could a console handle the high heat needed to cook food? Just wait and see. Number 4. KFC proves we don't deserve nice things. Some people thought the KF console was just an oddly timed joke. A nice piece of advertising at a time when new consoles are coming out, but these other products are a sick joke, a Tower of Babel for food. We're talking about the KFC Double Down, which is an insult to people. Instead of bread, this sandwich is made with 2 pieces of fried chicken. It has bacon, cheese, and barbecue sauce. Does that amalgamation of terror sound less than appealing to you, or possibly not disgusting enough? Then KFC has you covered with the KFC donut sandwich, which is somehow even worse than the Double Down. Even though it's similar to a regular chicken sandwich, this one has chicken wrapped in 2 whole glazed donuts instead of sandwich buns. Why? Because we have been put on this planet to suffer. Number 3. That time KFC didn't have any chicken. With worries of global food shortages on the horizon, the idea of going to the store and not being able to find basic necessities is a terrifying reality we may soon have to face. But in 2018, KFC chains in the United Kingdom ran out of chicken for a long time because they tried to save money by switching how they delivered food. This meant that they had to close all of their stores or ask customers if they would be okay with a KFC meal without chicken instead. The company didn't let the mess bother them, though. Instead, they apologized for running out of chicken in a full-page ad in major newspapers across the country and changed the name of their famous KFC bucket to the cheeky FCK. Number 2. KFC quits using risky chicken. The year 2016 is long gone. People coughed openly into their hands and high-fived each other while waiting in lines to lick doorknobs. If you were an average person, the idea that disease could spread from animals to people seemed like something from science fiction. Behind the scenes, consumer groups were pushing fast food chains to stop filling their cows and chickens with human antibiotics because of the very real risk that it could make antibiotic-resistant superbugs capable of decimating populations. As of that year, all of the top chicken brands except KFC had agreed to stop giving their chickens any human antibiotics. Even though they had rules that said they couldn't use antibiotics to make their chickens bigger, they still let them use some of them as late as 2017, a full year after people asked them to stop the whole thing. They did decide, though, to stop the practice for good, at least in the United States. Number 1. KFC Trinidad made some tone-deaf tweets. Fried chicken is loved by everyone. It's hard to mess up a meal like this, unless you smash donuts into it, so it's strange that black people are often thought to love fried chicken more than other races. During Emancipation Day in Trinidad, a holiday made to celebrate the end of slavery in their country, the local KFC branch saw it fit to celebrate by creating a graphic of a piece of fried chicken casting a shadow of a black power fist on the wall behind it. Right away, people called it racist and insensitive. The KFC account that posted it took it down and said sorry, but the damage was already done. During the height of the George Floyd protests, an official piece of KFC artwork of a black power chicken fist was making the rounds, usually accompanied by false claims that it was posted during Black History Month. It has become so ingrained that just Googling KFC Trinidad brings up pages of articles trying to refute its existence. So, guys, that was it for this video. What did you think about the video? Let us know in the comments section below. If you are new to our channel, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.